Hello and welcome to week one of Split 2 of the 2020 OPL. I am your host, Nick Boy Richardson, and my goodness, it feels like no time has passed at all since we have done this broadcast. Some time has passed though, of course, because we've got returning sponsors and some new sponsors. A massive shout out to Macca's, Neosurf and Epos for joining us for Split 2 of 2020. Very exciting. Also excited to be joined by the entire cast from Split 1, even the play-by-play caster. We've got Skimmy, Rusty and Spawn, gentlemen, and particularly Skimmy. Welcome back to the show. You broke the curse.
I was just going to say, I feel like I've broken a curse here. Maybe it's the fact that I'm from New Zealand, so they need to keep that diversity quota of, a big amount of Australians, but they need to make sure that there's at least one token Kiwi in the mix. So here we are.
Skimmy, it looks like you've been living with Carbon a bit too long there as well, mate.
Look, maybe the fact
back like a lumberjack.
Maybe the fact that I live in a legacy, maybe I just call it the legacy management house. Maybe because they are a winner, then I'm a winner, right? And that's what's broken the curse. Do you think that's a conspiracy theory? Who knows?
I just want to know if you're wearing sandals, because if you're wearing sandals, then you've just gone full Carbon, stomping around. I'm glad we got out of that the grand final match there before we saw him wander through the interview shot carrying pizzas and cake, wearing sandals.
Yeah, the guy's crazy. I was before we went live, I was sitting here, and I think Carbon was actually having some breakfast, and it must have been on the phone to his grandparents or parents or somebody. I believe he was speaking Dutch, and I was for a second a little bit confused what was going on. And then I realized, okay, this is a house of just multi-talented members. So, here we are. We're back. I'm the lumberjack, and back to you guys.
We are all back. Rusty, you're back, and you're also back at the gym, which explains the smile that can't be wiped off your face.
Oh, I'm not back yet, Nick, but we're counting the days down. The 13th of June, I can finally get back in. I don't even care if there's restrictions. It's exciting.
My goodness. My goodness. Think of all the Instagram posts you'll be able to put up. I am so over watching you do push-ups in your living room and
I'm
your
done,
bedroom.
though.
I want to see you do push-ups somewhere else.
I'll change scenery for you, Nick. I'm in North Sydney at the moment, so I might just go and catch the view, do some push-ups there for you.
Need a green screen for the push-ups, Get rid of that nice screen behind you and just get a rotating scenery for Nick involved.
Absolutely. And make sure you put the green screen in the right way up. Spawn, welcome back. How are you? I have nothing clever to say to you. I just want to, you're my buddy and I've missed you.
Yeah, I miss you too, mate. I've been going okay. I think, tough at the moment, I think. So just trying to look after my mental health, trying to stay busy and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been okay.
Yeah, it is tough at the moment. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the world right now. I don't want to speak for people who don't want to be spoken for, but on behalf of myself, and I would say the casting team here, the world's a pretty scary place at the moment, and I think there's a really important conversation going on across the globe around race and privilege. It's something that obviously is really long overdue, that Black Lives Matter, and here in this country, particularly Indigenous Lives Matter as well. I think that it's important this is happening, but it is also like a scary, confronting thing that everyone is going through. I hope everyone is staying as safe as they can, but also doing what they can to be able to make a difference. And it certainly seems at the moment that it's not enough at the moment to just not be racist. We have to actively be anti-racist, and that takes work on behalf of everybody else. So everyone who is doing their bit, you're doing amazing, and hopefully, we can be better. We can all do better, and I think it's time for us to all do better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Steve Kerr is like my favorite NBA coach, right? And I think he said young people are getting so educated, and it's amazing to see them step up and take the lead and stuff like this. So that's what my urge is for, right? Is for education. I know it's a scary subject, but try and read about it, try and get your head around it, and then try and form a good opinion about it, because it is important that people actively search out knowledge for stuff like that.
Absolutely. And you could do your own searching. I will recommend 2 books. I always go to books. There's Books Are Your Friend. How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, and also Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo Lodge. Both books fantastic, confronting, brilliant reads that will stick with you for the rest of your life. So please go out there and do something. Someone else has done something. What a pivot. EPOS, they've done something. They've joined the OPL broadcast. My goodness, thank you very much, EPOS, the official audio partner of the OPL. They are a global pioneer in high-end audio products, and we're thrilled to have them on board. You'll be seeing some of their product later on in throughout the weeks, so keep watching the OPL this split as well, because you will be able to get a chance to win yourself some hot gear as well. So thank you very much, EPOS, for coming on board. Also, I wanted to say that EPOS obviously giving things away. NeoSurf, our other partner, they want to be giving you something as well. Thanks to our partner Neosoft, you can be part of the OPL opening video that you just saw, that Zoom call, which hopefully will be out of date in a couple of weeks and everyone can go back to their lives. But if you can be a part of that and you can win yourself a $500 Neosurf voucher to use in the League of Legends store. All you have to do, take a video of yourself joining that call, follow OPL and NeoSurf Esports on Twitter, and then share it using the hashtag NeoSurfWin. You've got until week 3 of the OPL to get your entries in, and we'll be judging them. So get creative, make us laugh, do something. I mean, we can send you the PR spiel that we got sent about all the things you have to do, or you could do better things. Who knows?
I got so trolled in this video. Can we talk about this video for a second?
Very quickly, please.
Because we did a couple of takes of this, and I have a bald patch, which I very craftily hide. And I look down at the start of the video, and bam, just bald patch straight there. And then I trollingly say to the guy holding the camera, whose name is Inve, what do I do? Like, it says, do a hand posture. And he's like, kids dab. And I was like, I don't know what a dab is. And then he showed me. So then I did a dab. And he told me he was going to remove the dab from the piece that got sent to Riot. And the dab is definitely in that video. So, yes, maybe it is molding, chat. That could be a case. But I'm certainly thinning out, which I'm very self-conscious of. I'm going to shave my head again. I can feel it coming. And I definitely do not dab. My goodness gracious me.
Well, there you go. Show us your bald spot in a video. Full terms and conditions are on watch.lollysports.com. While the first prize is a $500 NeoSurf voucher, we'll award 5 runners-up with a $100 voucher each, all for use in the League of Legends store. So a big thanks to our partner NeoSurf, the only solution that lets you pay in cash online to thousands of websites, including League of Legends. Speaking of League of Legends, we've got 4 games for you today. Game 1, Chiefs versus Pentanet.gg. Game 2, AV versus Mammoth. Game 3, Order taking on Gravitas, and finally Legacy versus Direwolves. These teams, most of them pretty similar as we saw last split, but there have been some changes, which we'll get to later on. But let's start with game number 1. The setup for this, Chiefs, who couldn't get it done at the end of last split, fell, I would say before we were expecting, to Direwolves taking on Pentanet.gg. Rusty, what have the teams taken away over this break to be able to come back? And Pentanet, obviously, not the run that they were hoping for Split 1.
Yeah, I think both teams would have come into this split feeling the same way, in that it wasn't the run that they were hoping for. Of course, they exited at very different times through the seas. You know, Pentanet.gg with a whole lot to prove coming into this one. A top laner now in Parbu moving to the jungle role, but the Chiefs, they were so dominant in the regular season, and then exiting in the 3rd, 4th place position. Definitely not what their eyes were set on from week 1. They made the statement that we're better than anyone thought we were, and unfortunately they did fall short.
That's very true. Spawn, Chiefs, can they do it? Because obviously they were not ending where they wanted to be at the end of last split.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they've got a super talented top side of the map. I think Katsuri is still really, really great. Interested to see how Draku and Kai fit into this roster, but if you have as much firepower as the Chiefs, it's always a matter of, like, are you going to allow yourself to play as well as you can? Do you have the systems in place, like Jensen was able to do at Legacy? Or is this going to be, once again, just a disappointment and, kind of waste of talent? Because they are such a talented lineup.
They are a talented lineup indeed. Let's take a look at that talent in action, because it is time for game number 1 of Split 2. It is Chiefs versus PGG, and it is coming up with the Macca's Champ Select.
Hello and welcome back to the OPL for split number 2. It's off to a banger already. The Chiefs coming into this one to take on Pentanet.gg, both with different people on those rosters, both looking to emulate some of those successes, but then to try and bring in something new. Obviously, we talk about Dragku coming in there. Previous Avant top laner, had been playing the first 2 weeks of the OCS as the Chiefs Academy's mid laner, so going to be familiar with the organization, now coming in as their support. And if we have anything to really take away from Pabu's introduction as a jungler from the All-Star match, he liked to play incredibly aggressive here. So, right off the bat, Spawn, I'm expecting big things from both of these teams.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not even looking at kind of how Pabu played that match. I'm looking at the fact that Pabu said on his Twitter today that Croc is obviously a big first game for him, but he's looking to prove that all the other junglers in the OPL are quote-unquote bad, I think is the way he's putting it at the moment,
wow.
Skimmy. So we'll see how exactly young Jackson Pavone goes. It'll be quite interesting to track kind of his transfer, because I said this about Paris, or about Sully. I didn't think Paris was a problem at Pentanet.gg, but I do not think he was the solution either. And guys, we are aware that they're on the wrong side of the screens right now. Bowie Panther is the top laner of the Pentanet lineup and not the Chiefs lineup, and the logo seems to be a little bit inverted. But I think that, Pabu's got big shoes to fill, because Paris is a very good tempo jungler, and he was a good carry jungler in his own right. And I think a lot of Sully fans will be asking, if they do play around Pabu and they do allow him to play carries, well, why couldn't they just do this with Sully? And that's kind of my big question as well.
And I think to follow up that question, right, from a sense of identity, it felt very much the case of we play around Praetor. He gets insanely strong. We go and set up around him. He becomes a turret. Okay, 5-man push into the bot lane. 5-man push through mid. We're going to go as a team to force a Dragon or a Baron. That identity felt like it got lost for a little bit in, say, weeks 7 and 8 as they came into what was the playoffs, and they sort of came back to it again. So this is a team that definitely from the start of Split 1 had a lot of creative ideas. Western Way very expressive of, hey, we've been practicing this in the scrims. Look, we're going to try and bust up what appeared to be triple globals and make things happen. Sometimes the ideas were there, but the results just weren't there to match.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think on the flip side of Summoner's Rift, the Chiefs already answering some of their questions. How does the former top laner Dragku fit into a support lineup? Well, the answer is he doesn't. They just put him on a tank in Maokai, something that Dragku probably would have been familiar with from his top lane life. They're going to play a support center through Katsuri, and it looks like Dragku just going to be treated as another carry in this game. Skimmy, another person to be able to get the action started, another person to be able to actually be able to farm and accumulate some gold.
And we highlight the Chiefs having an incredibly strong top side of their composition. Obviously, Claire and Tien, definitely known for wanting to play those assassins. We're talking Diana, we're talking Akali, we're talking anything that can really get in the mix. Big wombo combos, instantly evaporate you. The classic sort of Chiefs argument of they hit 15 minutes, their item comes online, you're dead, we win the game. But on the bottom side of that, Katsuri, Korea, CK, I want to say that, lane dominance was a big facet for them. They were definitely crushing, especially in playoffs. Katsuri, the only member in Split 1 to actually get not only a pentakill, but to get the only 2 pentakills. So Draku's got big shoes to fill there to assist and aid King Robert in that position.
Yeah, and I mean, Katsuri is such a strange early carry, right? Because he looks like he plays a very safe style, that he takes very high percentage trades against you, and his positioning is really, really good, and that can be frustrating to play against. And it also means that when he is ahead, he very rarely makes mistakes and gives you anything back. I think that some of the other 80 carries in the league, when you have a look at people like Praetor and Rare 7, they're a little bit more in your face, a little bit more hyper carry 80 carries, whereas Katsuri reminds me a little bit more of Raze. When Raze was first coming into the scene, he's much more safe, much more teamfight oriented, and does have those big pop-off moments, but they kind of build up to a crescendo. They don't just appear out of nowhere. So I'm super excited to continue to watch him grow in this split, and I think that his team, the best thing about the Chiefs, I always say this, is they don't need him to play well to win. But when he does play well, it's very hard for them to lose.
And it feels like a situation where they have so many aspects of strength. You talk about the Hydra approach really to their gameplay, that you try and cut off one head, but somebody else appears to almost fill that void, pick up the pieces and sort of display a source of strength for them. So I think the Chiefs, especially for the first few weeks, at least the first half of Split 1, No real team had really cracked their code. They were all trying to match them in a team fight aspect, trying to go for these quick games. As soon as it felt like the end of the split one, where teams were starting to slow things down, try and draw it into a more macro aspect, the Chiefs started to show some chinks in that armor. But here we go, Pentanet.gg going to reveal what their composition has entailed. We've got a Fiddle, we've got a Nocturne. I think we're looking at some very creative lane setups here. Yeah,
I mean, that's probably going to be... you'd have to assume Nocturne mid, right? The reason I say that, Nocturne can be played top lane as well, but you haven't seen something like an Aatrox lock team, which is generally what a Nocturne's good against. And Biopanther is certainly more of the tank player than what Get Back is. So I'd assume that's going to be the lane compositions. The big thing here for me is you've got kind of two semi-global ultimates coming out. Ornn ultimate gets the action started from a very long way around, and I actually am a huge fan personally of pairing Ornn with Nocturne, because if you Nocturne ult and just hold the darkness, Ornn's engage is much more impactful, Skinny, especially if there's not a Braum on Summoner's Rift. So I think that this is a really nice comp put together from Pentanet.gg. Fiddlesticks laid over the top of that as well. A little bit more wombo combo. But it does look like Pentanet.gg is going to play a hard carry style jungle. Fiddlesticks in the early game is kind of useless. He doesn't really gank well, needs level 6, needs items. Once he gets those 2 items, it's really, really strong. But this does look like they are willing to make that adaptation that Pabu needs to thrive in this environment. And it's going to be interesting to track exactly how it goes.
And it seems to me that they're just going to fight fire with fire by saying as soon as we hit level 6, we have so much pressure that can come your way. When the paranoia comes out, the darkness that gets deployed on the map, they have so many abilities, as you highlight there, to really find that initial pick, make it a 4v5 straight off the bat, and then say, okay, now we can win with that numbers advantage. Obviously, we talk about the Kalista. Not going to be paired with the conventional Tarek, but the Fresh still a fantastic combo and the ability to chuck him into the back line, set himself up for success there with his toolkit, lock members in place. The box could be the initiation tool to guarantee that likes of a Fiddle, Nocturne, and Ornn can connect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Rogue's just a really, really good Thresh player. And Kalista Thresh is kind of the OG lane bully lanes. We actually saw him play Thresh with Rare 7 in the MSS Showmatch games, right? And he looked really, really great on it, especially in the laning phase. In saying that, going up against Maokai Senna is certainly one of the best traps to play against Kalista. I'm going to say Order were the first team to play the trap of Maokai Senna into the Kalista within the OPL. Thought it was super strong myself personally. So I think that there is there's a lot going on within this draft. There's games within games, Skippy. I think that Pentanet.gg has got exactly what they wanted, but I don't think that means that Chiefs are unhappy with how this draft has gone.
No, I believe that they'll be quite confident and quite happy with what they've got themselves set up for. Croc going to be on a nice little aggressive jungler. We know what he likes to do. Even if he gets shut out of the game, he always finds a way, despite all the adversity shown his way, to get himself back into this matchup. May now be looking to try and abuse the fact that Fiddle just wants to farm, hit level 6, be impactful, and highlight those kind of conditions he discussed only moments before. But here we are, game number 1 of a brand new split for the 2020 Split 2. And it's going to be Pentanet.gg taking on the Chiefs to kick off this brand new campaign.
Absolutely, Skimmy. And as we take a look at kind of the lane assignments, you can see how aggressively Claire is posturing in this mid lane. And the reason I point that out is because this is going to be crucial. If they have any chance of shutting down this Fiddle, they need mid lane push. And with that, they need to be able to kind of stop this ultra farm. I don't know whether Pabu's going for it. It would actually be great to check out the Fiddle's clear. Because generally what you can do with Fiddle is you can do Wolves as well as Blue Buff at the same time. And then you can do Blue Buff into Gromp at the same time. But it doesn't look like he's going for the super greedy play. It looked like he just started Wolves leashless and now is moving into the double camp now. The reason I point that out is because if played on a Knife's Edge, if you think you aren't going to be invaded as a Fiddlesticks, jungle quicker than anyone in League of Legends. Because you can double up on both Wolves and Blue and Red and Raptors.
And we definitely seen from when Fiddle got his fresh rework that his ability to clear was incredibly fast. He wants to make sure that he's able to accelerate that as quickly as possible, as you highlight with the double camp capture, with both of them starting on their blue buff. So going to be clearing to opposite sides of the lane to see if we get any early ganks. It's going to be a situation that's going to be frustrating in mid lane, right? You know, Claire's going to most likely get pushed in from the Q, from the passive clear, and a sustain that get back or have here.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of melee mid laners play the lane like this, Gimme, but all you're doing is you're trading your health for a superior ability to shove. Because a lot of mid laners, you know, they have great AoE abilities, and obviously someone like Corki is quite mana hungry in the early game. That's why we're probably going to see the Mana Mune build come out. So yeah, I completely agree. If you're willing to make it kind of spicy or get some action started in the mid lane around Get Back, he'll be able to maintain a little bit of push. But the danger is, with someone that jungles as quickly as Olaf is, can you really account for exactly where Croc can be? We've seen some unconventional pathing coming out of Croc. He is kind of that master of the early game, as you pointed out. And I would expect him, if Get Back continues to shove up in this mid lane, to at least go for a chunk into an invade.
Well, Croc, well, both junglers actually going for a full clear, but Croc getting the quicker end of that stick. He's the one that actually goes for the top scuttle. Now going to show face in the mid lane. Connects with the axe, but the shield denies.
This is what I said. He wants to be able to guarantee that push just through his body. Habu going to look to grab himself this camp, and he does have a way to exit the jungle through bottom lane. But I wonder if Dragu tries to stop that from happening. No, you can see that Croc, he's just happy for the action to take place right now, Skimmy, because it seems that my mic is doing that crazy thing again. But I think this early game heavily favors Pentanet.gg. They've got themselves the Ornn, they've got themselves Fiddlestick. Sure, you know, Senna plus Corki scale really nicely in their own right, but I think that the Fiddle is really the danger area that could have got shut down early, and he's already got himself a first shot with no problems at all.
Yeah, the neutral stance of that bottom lane made sure that he had that easy escape path through bot try. So he's going to be quite content with that one. No major panic moments to get that first buy off. Rogue going to connect with the hook right now. Now looking to try and commit with that all in. They're going to turn their attention onto Drake with the Ignite going down, and first blood comes in here for Pentanet.gg.
And the new support for the Chiefs gets welcomed onto Summoner's Rift by just one of the support veterans. Plucks him out of thin air, Skimmy. Ensures that there is no escape. And this is the area of the map that I think a lot of people expected to carry PGG. And it fell down as the season went on. I think we had so many conversations about it, even personally, Skimmy, about where did the Protect Praedyth game plan go?
Yeah.
Now he's got first blood on this Kalista bottom lane, one of the most aggressive laners. Certainly looking the goods right now.
And this did become a bit of a talking point as to, you know, he would find himself with small advantages, maybe an item, even half a component towards an item, being an advantage, but then not necessarily finding a window to force those skirmishes, contest an objective, and the source of frustration that could come from there. But my point I want to talk about, something that we sort of noticed since at least the MSC, is this new variation of a center build, now opting away from the Glacial Rune, now going towards the Grasp. It still allows you to have those fantastic trading patterns, stack up the Absolution passive, but you come at a laning phase with so much additional health, extra sustain. You're most likely looking at now the Glacial Hammer coming online first of all, so you've got that slow component still there, and a Black Cleaver to follow. So you're not going to be going for the Umbral Glaive most likely, you're not going to have that Vision Denial, but you're still going to retain that cooldown reduction and ability spam.
Yeah, exactly right. As Get Back actually in some big trouble here, Skimmy.
Yeah, Claire potentially looking for the all-in, but without that Ignite, not going to have the kill pressure to go for that one. Going to be quite content. Has bullied Get Back away, which has now allowed Chiefs to start off this Dragon. That's not going to be without this bot joy from Pentanet responding. Dragon down to 1k, maybe a 50-50 on the smite still, if it were to happen, but Bio has rocked up to this fight first. He gets the breath on down, and Praedyth is now 2-0. They pick up the Dragon as well. Everything going the way of PGG.
And PGG look awesome at the moment, Skimmy. That's double teleport used to contest the objective, but they get themselves a first Fire Drake and now have 1,000 gold lead. Everyone looks like they're on the exact same page. And the big benefactor right now is going to be their AD carry. You can see against his direct opponent, which should be Dragku, he's 1,000 gold up. Now in the top lane, Thien was able to take a couple of turret plays. He's getting himself nice and fed. But really, as the Camille, you have to stay ahead of the clock. The Ornn is always going to be more relevant in these team fights. And right now, Pentanet rolling into that mid-game nicely.
Yeah, Ornn is definitely going to be quite content with how things are going so far, especially if he can pick up some assists to accelerate himself. You know, you're looking at Camille, usually those 2 to 3 items when the turnaround can come online, a Trinity Force being the first major spike, but Praedyth now sitting on that 1,300 gold lead. That's essentially a BF sword difference between himself and Katsuri, but you've got to bear in mind this is the fasting center variation, so it will be Dragku that's picking up that farm.
And Biopanther staying bottom lane here actually got himself 2 plates in response. So this gold lead now even, you know, greater than what it was before. About 1,400 gold. And 7 minutes into the game. That's huge. You know, they're a Rift Herald take away from having probably a 3,000 gold lead. for the first 10 minutes. And they're there in the area first, with ultimates coming up back and available, and on already heading towards the objective. You can tell exactly what the game plan is here.
Right on the clock, 8 minutes in, that's when the Herald spawns without any teleport for those solo lanes to assist. As you say, Ornn is on his way. Gonna make sure they have the numbers advantage to keep up this early game tempo. Straight away on the clock, they start up the Heralds.
You can already see that Pabu is in position to fight. He's not anywhere near it. And this Kalista pick seems to be quite deliberate, because you can see they can leave Kalista on the objective and Pabu off the objective and still have really great secure skimming. So I love that setup there from PGG. It looks like this is a comp that they have practiced a lot and showing it to great effect versus the Chiefs. Sure, they lose a little bit of gold there. But as I mentioned, a Rift Herald drop now into first turret would explode this game. If that gold goes over to Kalista, she will be unrivaled in the mid game. There will not be enough damage until Corki gets, 2 or 3 items to really be able to shut her down. And they are very expensive items when you take into account that, we're talking about Manamune and Trinity.
Well, this is a response from the Chiefs. They've had enough of this one right now. The engage started off there by Draku, the route to follow with Katsuri. Trying to set things up here for Croc, who was waiting for that lane gank. They really want to try and shut down this Kalista, a king of the early game, especially those first 2 items.
That was
but
really
their ability to secure these objectives, as you say, Spawn, between the Smite as well as the Ren stacks that a Kalista brings, the Chiefs really sort of forfeiting and saying we'll try and get as much as we can with this Camille split push.
Yeah, and have a look at exactly what camps are coming up for Croc right now. You can see his bottom camp, they would have known he was topside as he peeked in for the Rift Herald. That's a really great game coming in from Croc. He technically shouldn't be there. You saw Pabu, he passed away from the objective, he was picking up the farm on the bottom side of Summoner's Rift, so that's a really great look in from Croc there. A little bit of a sneaky gank. I don't think anyone would have expected him to still be topside. And it does get Praetor to splash. Now, if they can get this shut down at 150 gold, a top lane turret is nearly going to fall over Skimmy. So we continue to look, with now this topside vision control, if that's something they can go for.
Well, Fiddle's on his way right now. He's got the Moby boots, so he's going to be very quick to join into this one. The vision was cleared. That's the ultimate to chuck in fresh to guarantee this comes across. Draku is the kill target. The center cannon comes out for the shield and the mitigation, but it just will not be enough. Pentanet's bot duo is so insanely strong 10 minutes in.
And Skimmy, this is going to be the complete turret drop. They're sending people over trying to defend it. Rogue recall, okay, so they don't actually go for it. I think that's a mistake. I think Pentanet had the tools right there to really explode this game. It was a high-risk play. It was definitely going to be a fight, but it should have been a 4v3. But instead, they take the high percentage play, and I feel like we've said this about Pentanet before. They don't like the risk gimme. They're more than happy to split the map to trade aggressively. And this time, all the same. They'll take the 3 summoner spells, they'll take a plate, and they'll get out of dodge.
Yeah, much was their identity of looking to draw the game out. One of the longest of all the teams was their game average. So whether or not that is the game plan here again, despite the new identity with the early game success they've found here so far, still yet to see the interaction when they all press their ultimates. But no doubt we may now see it coming up as a very real possibility in the next 15 seconds with that Ocean Drake spawning.
Yeah, and I mean, the interesting thing to me is that Biopanther is just not farming. You can see top lane is his wave right now. It's sitting at the turret, it's crashed. I think he's just lost, from what I can see, about 10 creeps. Instead, they're just playing purely around this 80 carry. And Kallista's not a late game 80 carry. She's not one of those 80 carries that scales forever like an Aphelios. They're back caught out.
Fully invested into this one as Praetor is looking to try and join in. This one is going to be a little bit late so far, so Chiefs are trying to find their opportunity. But they do find it. They turn on to TN. Bio with a 3-man knock-up, absolutely smurfing, and Get Back gets himself a double kill. Now they look to execute every single member. Only 2 survive. The Chiefs destroyed. The Dragon secured.
Skimmy, this is a stomp. Like, 2,000, 3,000 gold at 12 minutes into the game with an Ornn on your team, with a Fiddlesticks jungle. Right now, Pentanet.gg is absolutely crushing the Chiefs.
A brand new split and a brand new identity appears to be here, Spawn. They are having so much fun right now as we check in with this little replay.
And this looks like it's a catch, right? Get Back has to burn the flash, but they didn't account for Pabu on the Fiddlesticks. That's jungler already out of the play. The 2-man Ornn ultimate into the 3-person knocker. That is just huge from Biopanther. Beautiful use of that Bellows Breath, ensuring that he's still moving through the CC. It's a little thing when you're playing on Summoner's Rift, Skimmy, but they're doing it all perfectly right now. And this is 6 kills to 0, 3 major objectives, 4 if you count the turret, to none. And it honestly looks really easy at the moment for Pentanet.gg.
Definitely having a lot of fun so far. And as long as they can keep up this memento, then, or this momentum, I should clarify, then they're definitely in a situation where they can really run with the wind. Obviously, we've got to bear in mind the fact that so much of the CS has been sacrificed to supplement this kind of playstyle. If you now look and really see what that translates into, Camille definitely starting to accelerate themselves ahead, Claire also. But we highlight that they need those core items, those true power spikes, only really start to come online at the 2 to 3 mark. So as long as a gold lead doesn't really build too far out of their control, there's always that comeback condition that the Chiefs can try and play for.
Yeah, and that's what you're hoping for if you're the Chiefs, right? You're saying we probably need to sack the next Dragon, next Rift Herald. Okay, so we're probably going to be playing from about 5,000, 4,000 gold down and 3 Dragon. Can we fight on that 4th Dragon? Or do we give up the 1st Dragon too soon? And that's a big question to be able to answer if you are the Chiefs. They're one of those teams that the reason this game isn't over and the reason, you know, I'm a little bit hesitant to call it is because the Chiefs have been in situations like this before, but Barber going, well, he's not going, okay. Had the ultimate available, had Get Back's ultimate, looked like they were overreached there and they could have gone for a play onto Katsuri, but he does have the exhaust, so don't want to overextend right now. But what I was saying, Skimmy, is Chiefs are probably the only team that you would say can win a team fight from this position in the OPL. So we'll see whether they're able to manufacture something.
You can see the idea as to why they tried to set up that play in the top side of the map with the 2nd Rift Herald now just spawning. Would have been another nice way to ensure that the numbers advantage would be there.
Yep, this one is probably going to go into the top lane, Skimmy, because that turret is a Rift Herald away from falling down as well. With both sides of the map under control, that would mean that Pentanet.gg have a very easy time of diving mid lane with their composition, which is just beautifully set up to dive mid lane. One of the best mid lane dive comps I think you can produce here. And in fact, they might just skip a step, because they've already brought Biopanther over to the play. And you can see they're content to allow this Camille to get ahead. They certainly are putting themselves on a timer right now. And we'll see whether they can get the game closed in that time.
Jericho going to get collapsed upon. Tien does have the teleport if he decides to try and join into this fight right now. As Bio's actually parving bot side, so just the deployment of that Herald and the guaranteed turret will be enough for them so far. Very hard, though, Spawn, for them to really match the push that's coming out of Get Back's Nocturne here. Not only the passive, the Tiamat, as well as now the Black Cleaver shreds those waves in mere moments.
Yeah, completely agree. However, you do have to have a look at this Camille. And Thien did the exactly right thing. He knew he wasn't going to be fighting after the first fight went poorly. So he went back, got himself a Cull. He's already cashed that Cull in. He now has his own Tiamat, as well as a Trinity Force. And Camille scales kind of like no other champion, because uses the Trinity Force to create a true damage Sheen proc, right? Or Trinity Force proc. And that is going to be very, very nice against these squishy members, as they actually go for a fight here.
Yep, the bomb gets dropped. Rogue in a spot of bother, forced to flash away with the next Dragon spawning in 50 seconds. Chiefs starting to ramp up their aggression. Know that those power spikes are starting to come online. You highlight the Trinity Force. Hope he's not too far away from it as well. Well, he got out once, but he won't get out the second time. Croc finds revenge. May take him down.
Yeah, really nice play from Croc. And that's actually going to close the gold lead pretty significantly. And meanwhile, top lane, Tien looking for fire.
Showcasing the power spikes that are starting to come online here. As you say, both Claire as well as Tien went for that Cull. So they fully invested themselves into a farming account. And you know, the CS league continues to grow in their side of the court. 20 is the magic number at this stage of the game. We can't discredit the fact that Pradev is so accelerated, nearly at that second item spike. 3-0-3, big bounty on his head. Could be a big driving factor of whether or not Pentanet can hold it in the mid game.
Yeah, I completely agree that that's what it's going to come down to. Like, this Fiddlesticks is so strong right now, as well as the Callisto. And as I mentioned, you know, this next Dragon, it's for free. No one is even moving close to it on some of those reps. But they have done a really great job of only making it a 1,200 gold lead. I thought the gold lead would get bigger, but it's actually shrunk. It's now only 700 gold. So where has the game plan gone wrong for Pentanet? They've obviously not been able to utilize these 2 turret pushes on turret takes on the outside of Summoner's Rift to be able to push into the jungle and start denying Croc. And he's actually gone up 30 CS now, Skimmy. So a large portion of that gold lead going to be on Croc. The other thing, as we keep mentioning, is as you move towards these plays early, yes, you do secure really good vision if you're Pentanet.gg, but you also sacrifice farm. So the Chiefs have done the right thing here. They've stabilized through not moving to the objective, through farming up their own jungle, and by ensuring that they're pushing down turrets of their own. And that's got them back into a position. But even though they're still not ahead, they are 3 dragons down. The map has stabilized at least, and now they have a fighter's chance.
Chiefs have heavily invested in themselves and their ability to claw back games, as we see them do time and time again. One of the best team fighting teams definitely in the region as it stands. But Pentanet want to give them a taste of their own medicine and say, this is what we can do when we turn up the amp. They're going with the ultimate from Nocturne there, but unable to find a kill target. 2 members drop down to half, but they will stabilize. That's a big win there for Chiefs.
And this is what I meant, Skimmy. This is how I thought that they would be diving mid lane turret for the last 4 minutes. But it just hasn't happened. And the one time they do go for it, sure, it gets 4 summoner spells, 5 if you include the teleport, but no one falls down. So now they have to wait for the next ultimate to go for that. And meanwhile, you know, Croc is starting to look more like the Croc of last split. He's starting to go into the jungle. He's starting to look for cheeky picks. And I think that this is really great signs for the Chiefs that maybe they weren't expecting Pentanet to come out and be, you know, as coordinated as good as they were with a new jungler. But as of right now, they are looking quite impressive and still very resilient as a team.
You do get a little bit worried when a Nocturne is unable to find too much in the early game, but now they turn on to Prey of the win condition here for Pentanet.gg. Can Rogue protect and he cannot. Croc finds himself a shutdown. The MVP of last split showing what he can do when given the tools, given the shot, and given the opportunity. But hang on a minute, Biopanther coming in clutch. Forget the farm because he gets double kills. Now they turn up the tune and go mid lane again. Rogue finds one, takes out Claire. Now turning their attention to Katsuri. Pabu jumping on in. The fear, the suck, the damage, the delete. It looks good. And a dad there, Spawn. That's one you don't want to cut out of a video.
It certainly is not, Skimmy, because that was a really impressive fight. Praetor, the most fed member on this Pentanet.gg lineup, falls down before anyone else from his team is even in range to help with the fight, Skimmy. But they're so coordinated at the moment. Once again, very quick collapse coming from the Pentanet.gg lineup. Going to look to take down this turret. It's going to get reinforced in a second. One more auto will do it, fellas. And that's the gold lead back out to 2,000. And this time it goes over onto the Ornn. And why is that crucial, Skimmy? Because he is the tank. There's already a mountain dragon on Summoner's Rift. It's going to be a mountain soul. If he gets ahead, no one will be able to shut him down. CTN.
I like this from Tien, right? You know, getting aggressive, forcing the thing, making sure they're not falling too far behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is what we said. Like, when they set up in bottom side jungle, you have to be willing to collapse. But it was just the fact that Pabu, on a very quick run out of base, has those Moby boots. And then I think, you know, normal teams, the play stops there. But instead, Get Back continues to go forward. Gets a very nice shield there from Rogue as well from the Lantern. And Pabu is taking the right in with the Moby boots, able to continue the party. I think, as I said, this is just kind of unbridled aggression coming out of Pentanet, but I think it's really great understanding of if they're going to win, they must win now. They can't allow Camille to get one more item. They can't allow the Corki to get one more item. Katsuri with the souls is going to be so incredibly relevant. So they need to be able to turn it on right now.
Well, after that performance there, Biopem is still in touching distance of a 2-item spike Tien Camille. Now having just completed that Ravenous Hydra, the game's been put in a bit of a timer, knowing that Chiefs are still hot on their heels with only a 2k gold discrepancy. Next Dragon, sole point for Pentanet spawning in under 45.
And the thing is, Skimmy, as we just take a look at what we just saw on your map, right? So what we saw is Get Back had an open track to go towards that top side of Summoner's Rift, but because they're going to play heavily for this Dragon, they're going to once again deploy through mid. This is another carry that's now down 50 CS because they're not prioritizing farm. So now they have to get this Dragon. If this Dragon doesn't go down, they are in so much trouble.
This is the one that Chiefs no doubt will contest. They are at those item spikes. The Muramana only moments away from evolving, no doubt.
But look at the map state.
Have two Trinity forces.
They've given up mid lane prior, so they're not going. They might lose their mid lane turret. Bottom lane, they're losing creeps. Top lane, they're losing creeps. They're not getting creeps on either side of Summoner's Rift. So this fight means so much right now for Pentanet.
They fully all in on this condition. All the eggs are in the basket, as you had to say. That's the paranoia to catch out the Croc. But Claire's the one that's actually the focal point. He managed to get out with the evolve, despite everything thrown his way as Claire is able to survive to fight another day, but it does not matter. They catch out 2 members trying to set themselves up with a flank there. Now Croc popping the Ragnarok, going in for the 1v4, running through everybody that throws their way. Stopwatch coming in clutch, denying so much aggression as Claire spews hot fire from across the bridge. Draku surviving, he's taking up as much as he can, he gets feared. Working his magic with that passive right now for the sustain, the heals coming in. But BioPanther is an absolute menace. Tank, bruiser, assassin and all. That's what Orns can do. That's why he's been meta for such a long time. 14 kills to 5. That may just be enough with a jungler down to guarantee this.
And it looks so good, Skimmy. It looked like they had caught out Parvu, that they were going to be able to blow him up before the fight. But you can see the rest of the team is on the exact same page. But now Teleport coming in from Thien, they still want to fight this dragon.
They definitely do not want to give this up without any catch right now. He's got the Hextech ultimatum. He can look for a kill target. Instantly, as he jumps in with a hook shot, he gets exhausted. He will not be able to steal onto that dragon. Soul goes across. Big mountain, big resistance. BioPanther will be a menace to try and destroy right now. Parbu going for the 1v3. 2 have to disengage as Croc respawns and get back, snipes him away with the ultimate. Now the stopwatch comes out, buying time for the re-engage. No hook comes across, but yes it does! At the very last stretch there from Rogue, he jumps in, but the time that has been bought has allowed Chiefs to rotate through their cooldowns, and they delete one by one they go. Now surely a straight initiation. Let's go Baron.
Yeah, they have to go the Baron right here. They're going to do it slowly. Praedyth might be able to make it in time. But that is a huge swing play. Mountain Soul goes across, but the Chiefs finally get the fight they're looking for. You can see Rogue going back. He's trying to pick up his 80 carry, Skimmy, but this is going to be a 2v4 at the best.
The gold is dead even now. It looks so good. The Chiefs were not willing to give this one across, and despite losing the soul, they were able to pick up the kills. And now for Baron.
It looks like they're going to fight it? No, they're not. Okay, they're backing out. So let's take a look at the replay then. You can see this is the dragon picked up. The Praedyth falling down means there's no longer sufficient damage to be able to do anything. If Parbu had prioritized going for the Camille and Corki, I think this is a different fight. Much like the fact that Get Back flying into one hit the Corki was already out of the fight, I think is the wrong call here. But, you know, credit to the Chiefs. They always do this, Skimmy. They always find a way. And once again, they have themselves a Baron buff. They have themselves a play to be able to win this game.
Their patience was surely rewarded there, not only giving up every single objective, but knowing that they needed those core items to come online before they could force that fight. They found it. They always seem to do it, Spawn. And they've definitely clawed themselves back into this one. Now, the one's actually with the gold lead.
Yeah, and now they're close to that 3 item mark, right? I said this game will swing back at 3 items no matter what. I mean, you can see that, you know, still the richest man on Summoner's Rift is Praedyth, with Thien sitting right behind him. And a 3 item Camille is unrivaled in the split push, and 3 item Corki unrivaled in team fights, right? So I think that this game is a hell of a lot more interesting now, Skimmy. There still will be a window after this Baron buff expires where Mountain is more important. But I think that that time is rapidly diminishing.
The major benefactor of that is no doubt Ornn here, as he can double dip into that one, but there will still be resistances that can be attributed to Parbu with the Zhonya's completed as well. Now their ability to find those key targets is going to be a lot harder to execute upon, but they're going to try it anyway. Paranoia through mid lane, Ornn to complement it. He gets cleansed, but he still gets chased upon. He's utilising that movement speed, waiting for the Valkyrie Rockets to get himself out of harm's way, but he's going to fall on down regardless. That's not before Get Back gets sniped by Katsuri, who is literally on 50 HP, but will eventually be taken down by Parbu. Shutdown comes across. A triple kill picked up here by the Chiefs, stemming the bleeding, not allowing the Baron buffed minions to find maximum value. As Camille, well, continues to really deploy the tactics in the top side as Croc draws their attention.
And once again, this is so crazy that this keeps happening, because look at their side wave. They're just crashing into turrets. They're losing so much farm, Skimmy. And yet, every time, they're just looking to fight their way out of it. I actually don't know if they gained gold off the back of that fight, because they're still down 500 gold, and they just, like, they've lost so much CS.
Seem to phase them too much. They are fully committed to an identity. They want to team fight. They want to really admit what they can do to match the Chiefs. We're going to see how this replay really canned on out, but they're trying to find pick targets.
So any other team in the OPL is looking at that bottom wave and saying, we have to be able to catch it. The Chiefs know that, so they feel safe posturing mid. Get Back goes in on Claire. Once again, willing to burn Summoner's spells, be able to pick up the 1v1. you know, Katsuri getting that kill might have, you know, almost saved the game. If they have get back, you know, with his wave pushing ability and the damage he's going to do to turret, they would have been able to rip through the mid lane structures. But you can see Edge of Night now picked up, but it's still just, you know, 80-ish CS in the mid lane now, 30 in the top lane. So there's still a big discrepancy between the 80 carries. Keep mentioning it. Farming center, the feasting support and famine center is not really all that perturbed by gold. It's more about the souls that they're able to collect. And Maokai at 2.5 items, he's a tank, right? He's not going to really care all that much. I feel like this game, honestly, it's very hard to judge the power level of the team. Because it's all about the Fiddlesticks ult, and I think the Camille side lane threat. So we'll see who can execute better skin.
Speaking of Camille, has now just got that Guardian Angel.
Ooh,
a lot more of a nasty threat to deal with in those team fights, the ability to cycle through 2 lives when it comes to the likes of contesting an Elder or a Baron. But no doubt we'll be looking for that 1-3-1 split to continue to really bleed away resources that can go Pentanet's way.
And finally, Pentanet has someone on a side lane. I don't know why this time, because it's an Ornn and not the Nocturne who has teleport available. But he was busy pushing out top. Now it's going to be the Chiefs that lose a little bit of farm, so credit to Pentanet. I think their setup this time has been much better. Chiefs obviously very early to this objective. And we'll see exactly what a winning team fight looks like right now for Chiefs. Because I think that anything where the Fiddle is able to get 3 or more people in his ultimate, probably a loss.
Look at the vision control right now, though, Spawn, from the Chiefs. That entire Dragon area, bottom side river, is just lit up red. Everything favoring them right now. Fully committed into this one. Elder is their turnaround. You talk about how close it is between these two teams, but this is what they're looking for right now. Pablo instantly goes golden as Camille jumps on top of him. That's going to be a Valkyrie that's going to actually allow Getback to jump onto him as an easy target, but now he gets collapsed upon and 1v3 deleted as Chief starts to open up this situation. But it doesn't matter. Praetor does not have enough kill targets on top of him. He manages to dash away. The flash from Camille is not enough to get that kill secure. Shutdown goes the way of Rogue. As long as Praetor survives, you know you've got damage to boot. The flash, the hook, it will get Valkyrie away from. The numbers advantage definitely favoring the side of PGG, and with no jungler to contest, the Elder no doubt goes their way.
And this game has just been all about the execution. That chain vest from Praetor was a lifesaver, Skimmy. He's able to live through. He lifesteal tanks back up. That is going to be the Elder Drake falling. 20 seconds until the Baron buff. And in game 1 of Split 2, already such an interesting contest and a potential upset.
Elder will definitely be the difference maker in terms of what these two teams are looking to achieve right now. Very close in their attempts to edge out a major advantage here. But the timing could not be better for them, given that they go for the Elder now into a Baron. Very hard to contest. We already talk about the Fiddle Smite and the stacks that are Callisto can provide as well. Well, adding an Elder into the mix is not only that, but the ornament upgrades on a Blade, a Black Cleaver, and as well as a Rabadon's.
Yeah,
big advantage now being found.
That's big that he got a hat upgrade, especially given the fact that he's the only AP damage on his team.
Yeah,
that item alone could win a team fight for them. And Chiefs aren't fighting the Baron.
Hub is going to look for the 1v1, and well, Claire just got deleted, evaporated, not even a chance to consider what his options were. The cleanse went out. Did not seem to matter, however. Now everything going the way of PGG. How do Chiefs stem the bleeding? What do they look to achieve to buy some time? They've got Tien pushing the side lane, and this is what he did for a moment in those playoffs. Is always trying to say, well, if we're at a disadvantage, what can I find? What is our silver lining?
But I don't think they can race here. Looks like they're going for the Ornn's getting collapsed on Skimmy bottom lane.
5-1 is the Zorn with a Mountain Soul as well. Very tanky. Going to take a while, but regardless, they still beat him. A 3-man push on the bottom side and a 4-man push on the top side. They're the first to get to the inhibitor. That's going to force a response from Chiefs to go for the recall. They have to defend their base because they have one idea in mind, and that is let's end their game. Nature's Grasp goes out to lock them in place, but that's going to be Public jumping into the backline with the ultimate and an exhaust to stem the bleeding. The damage will not be enough to kill anybody just yet. One Nexus turret and a GG victory screen will appear on their screen. The root could be big right now, but they aren't able to find a kill target right now, working their way through the rockets. The damage that Claire can dispense, but it does not matter. Praetor gets the stacks and he gets the execution, a 1-for-1 so far. Now Tien able to rotate through those cooldowns. He's got a stopwatch as well, so incredibly protected. He can tank on the world and more right now as he does 1v2s. He gets feared, and he will get taken down in the end. It's an absolute cluster. Both left and right, you don't know which way it's turning right now. Get back the sole survivor in this situation, and he will manage to disengage.
But the Chiefs hold on. Off the back end of a biopic, it was very strange that Croc didn't recall. I think there was a window there where Pentanet.gg could have won, and they saw that they could have won. But a really nice team fight from the Chiefs means that they will still be alive. And Skimmy, as you take a look at this, you know, as soon as you see Croc in this bottom lane, you're talking about, okay, if they misplay at any moment, we'll be able to end this game. But I think they did not account for the Theon stopwatch. He gets himself back into the fountain. Now they're overextended. They're not with their creep wave. Croc finally gets back to the team. And some really nice team fighting coming across from the Chiefs. Player just does so much damage on the back end of this fight. Not to take anything away from Praetor, who is obviously playing very, very good League of Legends right now. But, you know, the Chiefs, they were down. They were against an Elder Drake. They're against a Baron buff. And yet they're still not out. They're still continuing to scale. Kills going back and forth both ways, but it is big shutdowns going to the Chiefs, and I just got to keep stressing it, Skimmy. This is a 3-item Corki that we're talking about. This is now a 4-item Camille that we're talking about. The game is still not over.
QSS will be that 4th item, and now the Infinity Edge comes online here for Claire. These are the major item spikes that you talk about when you're looking at scaling options. Champions that can really try and bring it back to you. The gold difference continues to grow here for Pentanet as long as those ornaments are coming online, but the fights are definitely a lot closer than you'd imagine, and you know, it begged the question as to, with a Baron buff and an Elder, how would Chiefs hold on? Well, a base defense like that definitely showcases what they can do. 2 minutes on that Elder and 3 minutes on the Baron. They may, if fights continue to go this way, use that final Nexus turret as a resource in its own damn right to contest.
You can see Parbu has Flash nearly available, so he's 2 walls back. This is something that people love to do on Fiddlesticks. You can come from such unique angles. You throw a Thresh into the play as well, and your options are just limitless at that stage. I think this bottom outer turret will fall down, but really a minute and a half until we're going to see a game-changing team fight as the second Elder Dragon will spawn. And I feel like whoever gets that Elder Dragon probably wins the game.
35 minutes into this one, you'd have to imagine so. As the bottom lane tier 2 now gets broken on, you've still got Biopanther pushing mid, keeping the Chiefs locked inside their base, asserting themselves a turtle formation, getting as much gold as they can. Katsuri now with the Executioners online as well is going to definitely be able to try and abuse Praetor with all this lifesteal he's gone for, make him an easy kill target if Camille can try and jump upon him. Nature's Grasp going to slow down the rotation from bot to mid. 40 seconds now on that second Elder. Mid lane priority becomes so important.
Yeah, and really good job there from Pentanet of just, you know, taking what they're given. They get an ultimate for that. That's great. They back away. They're going to continue to push creeps into the base, and they just want a free dragon here. We've seen that Chiefs are already happy to give up a free objective if they feel like they're not in a position to fight. Again, will have teleport available, I would believe, and there is a pink ward in bottom Tribrush. So there is a way that we can get maybe a 2-person TP flank in behind this Pentanet lineup. But really, I feel like they want one of them at least there to protect the Corki. He cannot go by himself. But the Dragon's up, Skimmy, and I think this is the game right here. Let's go.
Yep, the teleport is coming in right now. The inhibitor will not be respawning before this takes place, so they may decide to sacrifice that and hope that that Nexus turret has enough juice left in the tank to sustain themselves for this all-in 5v5 commit. The Dragon goes left and right, but the instant flee as they turn their attention on towards that Camille. Now the all-in engaged. Can they find that kill target with the Paranoia right now? Big target for the All to try and get a knock-up to try and decide this fight. Get back, stunts out Claire. The 3-item power spike. Corki is unable to emit any kind of source of strength to turn the tide of this fight. A double kill is picked up here. Mid lane aggression. Everything invested into this early game start has been met with a victory. And they can forfeit the idea of picking up that second Elder with the numbers advantage favoring them so heavily. The respawn on that inhibitor will be taken down swiftly. They will turn their sights onto Croc, take him out of the fight, work their way towards this final Nexus turret, and get themselves the very first victory of Split 2.
They're going to try. You can see Theon's base has been stopped so many times by Rogue. And Pentanet.gg has done it. Game 1 of OPL Split 2 ends in a huge upset.
An absolute monumental moment for them to get off to a flying start, for Pabu to come in as a brand new jungler to take it to Croc as the MVP of last split, the best jungler that we saw of Split 1, and say, look, we can exert this much pressure. You cannot contest any objective. We are going to sacrifice so much CS just to guarantee map control. And by the end of it, the strategy really rewarded them.
I completely agree, Skimmy. And the thing about Oceanic League of Legends is people love to fight. So even if you sack a little bit of farm to get better position on the fight, a lot of the times it can be worthwhile. And the Chiefs got really punished by Pentanet.gg doing that.
Well, there you have it. The very first game of Split 2 is well underway. We're going to jump to a quick break, and when we return, it's Game 2.
Today is the NeoSurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits, so hopefully we can bring home the win.
NeoSurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
He's got it! This is deadly! He's got it!
Welcome to the 2020 OPL. I am Nick Boy Richardson.
And that's a beautiful hemo play, gone to multiple members. He gets himself a double kill.
It's Raze doing what he does, the team fight king.
We love everybody. We love the OPL.
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.